Hey guys, welcome back to another video. There are exactly 28 days from which I upload this video until election day, November 5th. And as of right now, according to the Polymarket betting odds in the 2020 election forecast from theirs, Donald Trump is now favored to absolutely crush Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election. But before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed, click the bell so you don't miss all my content, press the like button, share this video. Don't forget, if you are interested, we have memberships. You can find the links to that in the description section. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 electoral map based off the Polymarket betting odds from every single swing and battleground state. So as of right now, Donald Trump is favored to win the election with a 54% chance. He has gone up by 3%. And Kamala Harris has gone down by roughly 2.5%. She only has a 45.8% chance of winning this election. And this is their newly updated battleground map for all the 50 states. And now they currently have Donald Trump winning Pennsylvania, which they originally did not. So that's going to be one of the major flips for the former president with the state's 19 electoral votes. But we'll get to that in a bit. But speaking about the electoral map, now let's take a look at the popular vote, in which Kamala Harris, not shocking, at all, is favored to win the popular vote. Currently, her odds at 74% to Donald Trump's 25.8% chance of winning the popular vote. Now, in my opinion, I do think it can get, very close. Obviously, it's going to be extremely close. Maybe it might be decided within just a few thousand votes. I do think there's a decent shot, Trump can win the popular vote, but as of right now, I do think Kamala Harris is slightly favored by, I would say, a tilt margin. I think in terms of percentage-wise, not the actual number itself, but in terms of the percentage, I do think Harris would probably win the popular vote by within 1%. Obviously, when it comes to the actual number of votes, I don't really know. But I think it will be within a percentage point, maybe even less than that, like 0.6, for example, in terms of the percentage. But for the actual number of votes, I don't exactly know. Maybe it would be decided within, a few thousand. I do think the popular vote will be way closer than in recent years past. I do think Trump has a greater chance of winning it now than he did in 2020 and even in 2016 as well, when Hillary Clinton won it by, I believe, more than like 2 million votes. So I think it's going to be under 2 million. So Clinton would actually do better than Kamala Harris, and that's exactly what the polls are showing. They're showing that Harris is performing worse than Hillary Clinton. And if Hillary Clinton literally lost to Donald Trump, he won by over 300 electoral votes, then what makes you think Trump also can't pass over 300 electoral votes if Harris is performing worse than Clinton did, and she, let Trump surpass 300 electoral votes? That would make no sense, especially if you even have Harris winning at all. And so let's begin with the western part of the United States, and we'll make our way up to the northeastern with these, restful states at the very end, starting off with Nevada, in which as of right now, Kamala Harris has the slight advantage by a very narrow tilt margin of under a percentage point, a 52% chance of winning the state of Nevada, according to the latest Polymarket betting odds to Donald Trump's 48% chance in this state. I would slightly have to disagree with this. I do think Trump does have the edge in the state of Nevada by a margin of around 1 to 2 percentage points. I do think it will be lean for him as of right now. Now, when Biden was in the race, there were some really accurate pollsters like CNN and the New York Times, which had Trump up by 12, which I think obviously he would not get it near 12. I think those were kind of outliers, but it was looking really scary for Democrats. Now, all of a sudden, Kamala Harris has the lead, and I just don't believe that. I think Trump's going to flip Washoe County, like guaranteed. I think he's going to really run up the numbers of skyrocket turnout in the Vegas area, at Clark County as well, among Hispanic voters as well. I think that would be key to his victory. So that's my opinion, but as of right now, Harris is going to win Nevada according to the latest betting market from, Polymarket, with its 6 electoral votes. So it will be tilt for her. And then as for the next state, it's going to be Arizona, a very important state. It's a must-win for Trump. If he doesn't get Arizona, he's most likely not going to win the election. This is a state that Biden won by a very slim margin, one of the closest margins you would ever see, like 0.3%, 11,000 votes, mainly due to Maricopa County. As we all know, he won Maricopa by 2 points. And there's a realistic possibility in which Harris still wins Maricopa by, for example, 1 point, but she still winds up losing the state entirely as a whole. That could possibly happen, but as of right now, according to Polymarket betting odds, Trump is favored by a lead margin. He has roughly 2/3 chance of winning the state to Kamala Harris's 1/3, 67% favored for Donald Trump, the former president, and the vice president Kamala Harris has a 33% chance of winning the state of Arizona in 2024. So that would be lean for him. Yet again, I do think he's going to flip Maricopa, despite this state is actually shifting towards the left in favor of Democrats. Obviously, futuristic-wise, this state will be very blue. They elected Democratic Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs for the in 2022 in the midterms for the first time since 2009. They also have a Democratic senator, and a lot of the McCain-style voters, people on the right call them neocons. A lot of them broke for Biden in 2020 because he was seen or viewed as a more moderate candidate, and Trump was kind of extreme. I do think a lot of them would break back to Donald Trump. I don't see Kamala at all being moderate whatsoever, especially the border crisis. She can't address immigration whatsoever. It's a losing issue for her. And I do agree with Polymarket. As of right now, I do have Trump winning this state by 2 to 3 percentage points, somewhere close to that amount. A lean margin doesn't really matter. And then as for Georgia, the main reason why Biden won this state because he got high turnout in Atlanta, the metropolitan area, the suburbs, especially among African American voters. I don't expect Kamala to have the same enthusiasm as Biden once did. Also, Brian Kemp, the governor, who is supporting Donald Trump. In the past, they did not have the best relations, and now they do. I believe they are. Georgia passed election day laws in which regarding absentee ballots, and they can't be accepted past 8 p.m. That means the state would be called much, much faster, and that's really beneficial to Donald Trump as of right now. According to the Polymarket betting odds, Trump has a 64% chance, around 2/3 of winning the state, or flipping it actually. Second flip with Arizona as well. To Kamala Harris's 37% chance of winning this state. These are the odds as of right now. It's going to be lean for Donald Trump. I do agree with that as well. Currently, I do have him winning Georgia by around the same margin actually in Arizona, because those states, believe it or not, vote in the same direction. In 2020, they both went to Joe Biden by within 0.4% for both of these states. So they were very similar. As of right now, I have Trump winning Georgia by probably 2.5 if I had to make a guess. Now, if Biden was still in the race, things would be much different. Trump would probably win it by close to 5 or maybe even 6. But obviously, it's Kamala Harris replacing him, so things have completely changed. I just don't think she's going to have high turnout in Atlanta as Biden once did in the 2020 election. I just don't see the Democrats having that much momentum, especially considering how things are going with the current administration. And then you have North Carolina, in which as of right now, according to the betting market from Polymarket, the odds say North Carolina is going to be closer than Georgia, which in 2020, North Carolina actually voted to the right of the state of Georgia. But if you take a look at 2016, it was, different. North Carolina actually voted to the left of a state like Georgia. So, I mean, in terms of shifts, Georgia's shifting towards the left more than North Carolina. But as of right now, Trump gets a 60% chance to Kamala Harris is almost 40% in the state. That's going to be a lean margin. As of right now, I do have Trump winning the state of North Carolina by close to 3 percentage points by a lean margin. And then you have Wisconsin. Now, moving up towards these Rust Belt states, as of right now, I actually do have Trump winning this state by probably about 1 percentage point, which is greater than his 2016 margin of victory in the state. As of right now, according to the odds, they put Kamala Harris at a 52% chance, similar to her chance of victory in the state of Nevada, and Donald Trump at a 48% chance, or actually 49 if you scroll up here, of winning the state of Wisconsin. I do think this state in terms of polling is really bad because in 2020 they had the worst polling error. Wisconsin had the worst polling error out of any other state. Right before Election Day, they had Biden up by 6 points on average, and he didn't get anywhere near that there. He obviously won the state by less than a percentage point, 0.6%, margin of 20,000 votes, which is actually less than Trump's margin of victory in the state back in 2016. Keep in mind that Wisconsin is the reddest Rust Belt state of the three. It voted to the right of both Pennsylvania and Michigan, not only in 2020, in 2016 as well, and the Obama era as well in both of those elections. But as of right now, Harris wins it by a total margin of under percentage point. According to the odds, I do have to disagree with this. I do think Trump is going to flip Door County, and the main reason why Biden had won it was because of Milwaukee. Kamala Harris is not going to get high turnout as Biden did. She would have to have a performance, in line or in par with Joe Biden in Milwaukee in this election, and from 2020, that's not going to happen. And then you have the state of Michigan, in which, according to the latest odds, Donald Trump is trailing Kamala Harris with a 48% chance to her 53% in the state. Keep in mind that Michigan was the bluest Rust Belt state in 2020. It voted to the left of both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So as of right now, I do have Kamala Harris narrowly pulling off the victory in the state of Michigan by a tilt margin under percentage point, just a few thousand votes. I do think we have to keep an eye on that large uncommitted vote. When 100,000 voters voted uncommitted in the Democratic primaries, it shows that Harris does not have the enthusiasm as Biden once did back in 2020. But yeah, as of right now, Michigan's going to be tilt blue. I do think Trump can do better in places like Dearborn, strong Democratic counties, stronghold counties for the Democrats, obviously. And also, Trump got endorsed in this state by a Democratic mayor, which may swing things. I'm not really sure. But I do think this state could be, really interesting to watch with that large uncommitted vote, like I mentioned earlier. And also, Trump actually received more votes in total than Joe Biden did in the primaries. And I don't want to really tie this to the primaries because one thing is that Kamala didn't even have a primary. Obviously, she got chosen by the delegates, but I don't want to get into that, obviously. And obviously, Joe Biden's not in this race. But still, if Trump correctly ties Kamala Harris's record to the Biden administration, which Joe Biden himself is trying to act like Kamala Harris is the one in charge, it's not going to look good for her. And then the last and final state, the most important one, that is the tipping point state, as we all know, the deciding factor, Pennsylvania, which this is the main thing in today's video. The most important one is that Trump is now in the lead in the state, which he was not originally. He is now flipping Pennsylvania. He has a 55.5% chance of winning the state to Kamala Harris's 44.5% chance. As of right now, if the election was held today, I currently do have Donald Trump winning this by roughly 1.5 percentage points. Arguably a lean to tilt margin. I expect him to flip Erie County. I expect him to flip Northampton County, which only went to Biden by 0.7. If he's able to at least perform better in Centre County, next to Pittsburgh, I think he's on track to win this state. And he got shot in Butler County, obviously, which is right next door to Pittsburgh, so maybe that can really drive the turnout in some of these stronghold Democratic counties, including Philadelphia as well, especially the suburbs. I think the entirety of this election comes down to only the suburbs, not the rural areas, not the urban areas, but the suburbs specifically. Obviously, it's going to come down to the hardworking class, the middle class, the union workers, and obviously there's a lot of white college-educated voters, which usually pans out well for Democrats, which is another reason why I have New Hampshire doing better for Harris than other states. I have her winning New Hampshire by around 5 percentage points, a likely margin. So this is the current map according to the Polymarket betting odds. If I had to disagree with some of these states, I would say Nevada is going to flip to Trump and also Wisconsin as well. I would leave Michigan at where it is for right now. So 281 for Trump. In my opinion, it's going to be 297 as of right now. To Kamala Harris is 257 electoral votes. Keep in mind, this is not my prediction. This is just according to the betting market. Let me know what states you agree with or disagree with in the comment section down below. The main thing or the main takeaway is he does flip Pennsylvania, which I do agree with that as well. One last final reminder to subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss all my content, press like button, share this video. Don't forget we do have memberships. You can find a link to that in the description section if you aren't interested. That's pretty much it. Thank you everyone for watching.